What's going on, everybody? Got my best friend Perry over here because I just had to for this film. So we obviously went to go see Godzilla vs. Kong, which is not a film that we would usually watch, but in a day where new films are becoming kind of scarce, I felt like it would be a really fun idea to go watch and review this film. And honestly, I was actually kind of excited for this, which is weird because I don't really even like these kinds of movies at all. The only thing that kind of got me a little bit excited, like if I can actually point to a grounded thing that made me excited for it, was the fact that Adam Wingard was, he didn't write this movie, right? But
no,
but he
directed
it. So I'm not that huge into Adam Wingard. You know, I like the guy. I like Your Next. I like The Guest. I think they're good, fun movies. Perry calls him Adam Rimjob because he doesn't like him at all. But I like the guy, so I guess for that one grounded reason, I was like, okay, he's kind of fun. Let's just go check it out. But either way, cut all the shit. Let's just cut right to the chase about my opinion on this film. Here's the thing. Obviously, everybody's going to go to this film because they want to see good action, and they want to see if the title Godzilla vs. Kong actually, lives up to the hype. And I'm here to tell you that it absolutely does, at least in my opinion. If you go to this film, which obviously everybody's going to go to this film, nobody's going to go to Godzilla vs. Kong to see, an enriching story and, thematic characters or anything like that. They go to Godzilla vs. Kong to see Big Monke versus Big Lizzard. And this film, I feel like, delivers on that front incredibly well. In my opinion, the first act of this film, almost the first whole half of it, I was a bit skeptical. And I was like, okay, this is okay, but, the writing isn't very good. It's just basic, Hollywood cheese and a lot of exposition that just didn't work. A lot of it was flat. I was like, oh, this is kind of hard to get through. Especially when the action was there in the first half, okay, this is good. But as far as the dialogue of the characters, it was kind of a chore. Then the second half gets a lot better. Even with the characters, it gets better. And even the dialogue, it still has a problem with the writing. But, even that gets better. And the action is just, it's amazing, honestly. I thought the action and, the fighting and even the special effects is really great. Yeah, I would say it definitely delivers on the whole, on the whole Godzilla vs. Kong thing. And, yeah, so if you're obviously going to this film wanting that, I think that you will not be disappointed. But with all that being said, I kind of talked too much. I'll give it to Perry if he has any thoughts on it.
Yeah, it's funny because we typically talk about art house films on this.
I mean, just look at our shirts.
Yeah,
he has a Possession shirt. I have a
Belladonna of Sadness.
Belladonna of Sadness shirt. Can't see all of it, but yeah.
So this is not an April.
No.
It's weird to think this is not an April Fool's prank. We actually saw this movie in IMAX, and I actually enjoyed this too. This is the first Adam Wingard film I've seen and actually enjoyed. I never thought I would ever say that I enjoyed
an Adam
Wingard film, but I mean, it's 2021. The world's upside down, and anything's possible at this point. Yeah, I agree with Carlos that the first half was a bit of a chore to get through. The second half, I wouldn't say it's way better, but it's definitely a huge improvement. Yeah. I still have my issues with obviously the second half of the film, although the action is fantastic. This film gives you exactly what you wanted, because Carlos said, we didn't go into this film expecting Jean Dielman. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. We don't go to Godzilla vs. Kong for symbolism.
Exactly.
You know?
We don't go to Godzilla vs. Kong for subtlety. And I know what y'all are probably thinking is why does this movie work, but movies like Transformers or any other dumb blockbuster, not work for you guys? Is because this movie's actually, I never thought I would say this, well directed. And I mean, the writing's not great, and the human characters for the most part are not great.
You get one character.
Maybe, one or two characters, okay, they're serviceable, alright. As opposed to most Godzilla movies where, look at the Kong Skull Island. Like, all the characters in that movie were completely bland and forgettable. It's like, I could tell you the actors that were in that movie, but I couldn't tell you shit about any of the characters.
And the thing is with Transformers, like, even though there's a bunch of action and explosions and shit, like, you don't care about anything that's in there. You don't feel like there's like any stakes. You actually kind of do feel stakes in this film at times. Like, you kind of know where it's gonna head somewhat, but at the same time, like, you actually do feel something during these huge scenes, which is really important. And even then, like, yeah, sure, it's like it's super, like, it's not saying like it's super, like, you know, like it's definitely mindless action, but it's action that is like, you actually feel engaged and you actually feel invested in the action.
Right.
You actually feel like you're on the edge of your seat with this shit, because I think there are like legit stakes when you're watching it. And that's something that you don't get with like a fucking Michael Bay film or like with Transformers or anything like that.
Right. And it's like the way Hollywood, like the trajectory Hollywood's been going towards, it's like, I never thought we were going to get a blockbuster like this where I can actually say I enjoyed it. Because I typically don't enjoy normie core shit. Yeah. I don't enjoy blockbusters. It's very rare where a film like Godzilla vs. Kong comes along where it knows exactly what it is, knows exactly what it needs to be, and it does exactly that.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, again, like, I don't watch movies like this often. If you just go through my channel, like, it's all like obscure art house stuff for the most part. But you know, every now and again, there's a big blockbuster film that gets hype, and that, you know, there's a film that I just feel like, okay, you know what, I actually feel like giving this film a shot. And sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't, but I think this one paid off. Like, I think it's actually a pretty good film. Calling it a film seems weird. It's a good movie, but
yeah.
But it's a pretty good movie. Yeah, because it gives you exactly what you want and expect out of it, which is really important for a film like this.
Right. One thing I will say is there were some. We got to talk about the human characters, because some of them I thought were like serviceable at best. Some of them I just could not stand.
How'd you feel about like the villain human character? The main villain.
I didn't mind him, because like that's a trope that I've just come to expect in like normie core blockbuster shit.
You've accepted that trope.
Yeah, so I've just kind of accepted it. I think the character that really bothered me the most was Millie Bobby Brown, mainly because she's just a terrible actress. And and they keep on, it's like they're really trying to shove her down our throats, like, she's the next big thing. It's like, you were in Stranger Things, but you're not a great actress. I'm sorry.
You get a scene between her and her father in the beginning that was just so bad.
Dude, I hate her father. I hate Kyle Chandler. Dude, I was afraid, because when I saw the trailer, I was like, oh god, Kyler Chandler.
He's barely in the movie, though.
He's barely in the movie, which is a positive in the movie's favor.
Isn't he in the Wolf of Wall Street, or am I confusing him with somebody?
No, I don't think he's in Wolf of Wall Street.
Okay, he kind of looks like somebody.
He was in Game Night, which
I haven't seen.
Okay, Game Night is like the only good use of Kyle Chandler, because the only other film I've seen Kyle Chandler in is Carol, and he's easily the worst part about that movie. Brian Tyree Hill is the comic relief character.
At first, he was a little over the top and annoying for me. I was like, ugh.
But he kind of grows on you as the movie goes along.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, not that the comedy in this film, not that it really landed, but like I said, that's just something I've come to expect from blockbusters.
A lot of it just falls flat and a bit cheesy.
Right. They put in, comedy to make it more consumable to the audience. But there was a couple moments where I
was
laughed.
Funny, yeah.
There was one scene that actually it was a really good reincorporation with the sign language. The
sign language, yeah. Because the first time they tried to hit a joke with that and it just didn't work. I was like, okay, that's kind of like cheesy, not really funny. But they actually brought it back at the end and it actually landed really well, and it was funny. It's like they were saving it for a better joke at the end, and it worked really well.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't. Anything else you want to add to this? I mean,
I don't know. It's like, just talking about it, I don't even think they do the action in this movie justice. The
action is like really well filmed. Like all the camera work, all the special effects, just all that.
The neon lighting, I really appreciate the neon, the use of neon.
Yeah.
The color palette, I mean, looked great. Because, like, with the Zack Snyder film, everything's saturated and it looks like shit.
Yeah.
But this, it's like everything really pops at you. I mean, it's not something I'm rushing back to see or something that I could see again, because it's like once you watch it in, like, IMAX, all your viewings after that are just not going to compare, you know?
I could see myself, like, owning this, though. Like, I could own this movie. I don't think I'd ever, like, watch it again, but just to, like, support it, I'd be like, okay, you know what? I liked this movie. I'll buy it. But, I won't buy it at full price. Like, if it's on sale one day, I'll buy it or something.
I don't know. I wouldn't own it because I only like owning Criterion films. I know that sounds like super gatekeeping.
You pretentious piece of shit.
I know how that sounds.
I only own Criterion.
I only
hear that?
want Criterion films. If it's not on Criterion, I don't want to fucking own it.
If you don't own Criterions, then you're just a pleb. Some people say the opposite. Like, if you only care about owning Criterions, then you're the pleb.
But that's my problem with like blockbusters you want to see in IMAX. Once you watch it in IMAX, you don't really have like a lot. Like, you don't really want to revisit it. Yeah. Like Dunkirk, I saw that in IMAX, and holy shit, that was an amazing experience. But it's like after seeing it,
no experience will ever match that.
Exactly. Weirdly enough, the last IMAX film I saw was Nomadland. I saw Nomadland in IMAX, which is a film like you don't have to see in IMAX, but it definitely enhanced the experience.
Speaking of Nomadland, I'm going to be watching that this week.
Yeah.
I just watched Judas and the Black Messiah, and I'm going to be doing a 2021 Best Picture ranking video hopefully this weekend.
Right. If y'all are wondering, like, why didn't y'all review The Father or Nomadland or Judas and the Black Messiah? Why are y'all reviewing this normie shit? It's because, Carlos is saving that for
I saw The Father already. I saw The Father, and
it
holy
unzipped
shit.
him.
It unzipped me. It unzipped me. I hate you bitch. But yeah, it's The Father was, it was, I won't talk too much about it, but The Father was really it was an experience for me. But so anything else you want to add to Godzilla versus Kong? I mean, I guess one thing I'll also say is that in terms of how they handled both Godzilla and King Kong, like, they're both, like, you feel like they're both like genuine characters in the film too. Like, you feel like Kong has like he's not, like, these aren't just monsters that are just here to fuck shit up. Like, you feel like they have, like, something within them, too. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. So I think there's just enough characterization to make it work.
Yeah.
As opposed to with the human characters, where it's like, A, there's not enough characterization, and B, the characterization they do try to have.
It's, like, over the top.
I don't give a shit, I don't give a shit about Millie Bobby Brown and...
Your father, Kyle Chandler, wasn't he?
Oh, God.
You just don't care about that shit. Like,
it's like, I didn't mind Brian Tyree Hill, but it's like every time they would cut back, it's like Brian Tyree Hill and Millie Bobby Brown, they came as like a package. Every time they cut back to their character, which you could argue are useless characters and pretty much can be completely cut out of the movie. Yeah. It's like every time they cut back to their characters, it's like, okay, this is not really serving much of a point to the plot, you know? It's almost like that subplot that exists to like make it a full-length feature film, which I will say that's something we need to talk about. I love how this film is under fucking 2 hours.
Yeah, that's good.
It's
that's
like
good. It felt like the runtime was the sweet spot. It was perfect.
It did not overstay its welcome. It got in and it got the hell out.
Oh yeah. What else?
I mean, there's not a lot to it. It's like you just got to know what you're getting into before you watch the movie. It's like, obviously, you have to have like you obviously can't be expecting like some deep art house, philosophical,
character-rich movie.
Exactly.
Yeah. One thing I will say that I thought is kind of fun to bring up. Adam Weingart is somebody who's known to always like have this 80s retro sounding thing in there. So this movie doesn't actually really have that, right? Like, for the most part, it's like a score you would kind of expect out of any kind of Hollywood blockbuster movie. But there's this like one really quick scene that's random, like it comes out of nowhere, and you get that like classic like Adam Weingart 80s retro sound that just like it lasts literally for like 10 seconds and then it's done. And then Perry looks at me like and I thought that was hilarious. And I mean, I thought it was kind of cool. I was like bopping to it. I was like, that's fucking cool. But it was definitely random and it just seemed like Weingart's like, I have to do it. Oh my God, I just have to do it.
I gotta have 80 cents in my film. I really looked at Carlos. I'm like, we're watching a fucking Adam Weingart film right now.
I was hoping like after that point he would like do kind of like keep doing it. But it was just, that was pretty much it. It was like one little quick part where you kind of get that. But
yeah, I think that's part why I actually enjoyed this movie. It's the least Weingart has ever Weingarded.
It's funny as fuck. Dude.
Because I don't know, I just don't like his directing style, and and it's like up to.
I like Your Next. I like The Guest. I don't really blame anybody for saying that they don't like them. But I just think, like, for what they were, like, they're just fun movies. Like, they're not offensive. They're fun movies. If you just know what they are, you'll have a good time with it.
But fun doesn't always equate to good. I mean, it's like, because if you were to say, like, oh, they're just fun movies, then you could argue that, like, any piece of shit playing at any theater, anytime is, good.
Well, not really, because I have to enjoy it. Like, the whole point is, like, they're not insightful, like, even, like, that well-made films. But they're just like, they do enough to entertain you and to where you actually feel like you enjoyed your experience, in my opinion.
But other people could say, oh, well, they gave me that experience. Oh, they entertained me, so therefore they're good.
But if they feel like that they were entertained by a movie, then I think that's worth like, okay, then it was good to a certain degree. That doesn't mean it's amazing. Like, you wouldn't give a movie that just entertained you a 10 out of 10. But like, if I enjoyed myself watching it, even though it's not like the best thing ever, like I'm gonna give it like a decent grade, like at least a 6, because if you're entertained by a movie and it was supposed to entertain you in some way, that means it did somewhat of its job. You have to give it credit. I mean, you're not gonna give it like an amazing score, but you got to give it some credit.
Right. That's exactly how I feel versus Kong versus Godzilla. Like, it's not an amazing movie, but it did exactly what it needed to do, and I was definitely entertained by it.
By the way, it's my partner Jen in the back.
Yeah, she doesn't want us to acknowledge her, but we have to acknowledge her. Otherwise, it'd be weird if we did it.
Everybody think I probably kidnapped somebody and just told them to shut the fuck up during the review.
Right. Or there's a demon sitting in the back seat who's waiting to kill both of us.
But she's playing Animal Crossing. Don't mind her.
No sé en dónde estoy.
I kidnapped the Hispanic girl. Yeah.
You force her to do your short films.
Yeah.
Act in my movies or die.
All right, so I guess with all that, we'll go ahead and give our grades. This is kind of a difficult movie to rate in a way, because like you have to rate it like you always have to see it. You have to rate it on intent,
Right. Intent versus execution.
Intent versus execution. There you go. Let me blow this down a little bit. Yeah, intent versus execution. And I think this film does well kind of with both for the most part. So, like, I don't know. Like,
not in the writing sense.
Not in the writing. The writing, like, and I get it. Like, you're not going to get, like, the best writing with shit like this, especially with a movie that's like this. You're not going to get, like, insightful characters or anything, or even good dialogue. But
I
still had a problem with it, though. Like, it still bothers me, So it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. You go first. I can't. Okay. You go first.
All right. I'm gonna give Godzilla versus Kong a soft 6 out of 10.
Oh damn, that's way lower than I expected.
Oh, come on, dude. I think that's a fair rating for this. What, are you about to give it a 9?
No, I'm not going to give it a 9.
Carlos gives everything a 9.
Not true. I gave Yee a strong 7, and that's really offensive to a lot of people.
Oh, that hurt.
I gave The Skin I Live in a 9, though. Yeah. So, there's that.
Yeah.
But, I'm definitely going to give it higher than that. I'm going to give this a strong 7 out of 10.
Whoa.
Yes.
So literally the same rating as Yee.
Yes.
You heard it here, folks. Carlos thinks Godzilla versus Kong is as good as...
on par with Yee.
What the fuck?
No. I knew people were going to say shit like that, but like... the way, like, okay, like, I used to look at shit like that the same way, but hear me out, all right? They're, like, different films aiming for different things in different genres, so they're gonna receive, if they happen to have the same grade, it's because they both did the same kind of thing, but in their own wheelhouse. That's kind of why.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so strong 7 out of 10 for me, because I feel like this film did what it was supposed to do incredibly well. And anybody that's going to go see this movie, obviously for the Godzilla and King Kong stuff, which is what everybody's going to go see this movie for, it does exactly what it needs to do. And it was really, like, entertaining, and it did exactly what it needed to do. And for that reason, I wouldn't give it anything lower than that. So,
okay.
Even though the writing is, again, I can't stress enough that the writing, especially in the first half, is either mediocre or just flat out awful.
Yeah, the script is definitely mediocre at best.
And then some of the acting is awful too.
Yeah.
But again, second half, the writing gets better. It's still not great, but it gets better. And then the action is just like, it's out of, like, honestly, it's like really, really great stuff. It's really well directed. Just the special effects are great. The choreography, even for all that, is good. So, like, it's good stuff.
Is it on par with Tenet in terms of action and special effects?
I don't know. I would say that, like, God, I don't know. I think I gave both Tenet. I think I gave Tenet a 7 too.
Yeah.
So in terms of special effects, I'm not sure. I think this one does more, obviously, because there's a lot more going on with, like, special effects here, I think, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, man. To me, let's just call it a tie between the two, honestly.
Okay.
I don't know. This one's more, like, showy. Like, Godzilla vs. Kong's more showy.
Right.
A lot more crazy shit going on. So, like, I guess I would give the edge there in some way, but I think both films are, like, on par as, like, pretty good, like, blockbuster kind of films. One's obviously more, like, thought-provoking and crazy and mind-bending. This one isn't mind-bending. It's just, like, dumb fun, like, B-movie kind of stuff. But it exceeds really well in that.
Yeah.
But, anything else you want to add? Is that about it?
That's a wrap.
It's a wrap, folks. Well, if you're new to this channel and you're just happen to stumble upon this video, I can ask you to go watch my other stuff, but I don't know if you're into art house shit. But if you are, I got a bunch of reviews for a lot of obscure art house kino shit. So if you want to look at all that, you can. But either way, if you really enjoyed this, please make sure it is absolutely imperative that you give this a thumbs up. And not only that, but please consider subscribing to the channel and share this video around with other cinema fans like yourself.
Ring the bell.
And oh yeah, tap that bell to be updated on new videos I upload. So, see you later. Thank you for stopping by.